Thing is a bad question.
I guess for you when you're first starting out, like what was your biggest drawback when it came to, like persevering through sales? Like maybe you didn't get like the results you wanted as quickly as you wanted in the beginning. Like what did that look like for you when you first started as like a beginner?
Hmm. Okay, so I guess the first thing that, and that's a good question here for sure. And you could keep your mic off of mute, bro, while
Okay.
you're actually
Okay.
the one who has the floor. That's a really good question. I'd say the first thing that you guys, everyone here, has nailed is like you guys took action as far as like getting some outside help with it. So that's like a big leap because I could tell you just persevere, bro. Just do the reps and like put your head down, etc. And you'll get better, all this cool stuff. And it is true, but it's like you guys are actually getting outside help. So that's first thing to answer your question. You already did that. You're already ahead of way light years of most people who are just like stuck in the same spot. We're clearly not going to be there, and we're clearly already making progress. So that's first thing to all of you. Second thing I would say on that is like one we spoke, Ben. I mean, you spoke about detaching yourself from the outcome is really
Mhm.
important because
Yeah.
like if you sit there attached to the outcome, like if I get this appointment set, then I'm gonna make a commission, and that's all you're thinking about. Then it's going to reflect in the way you act. Detaching yourself in the outcome also in the sense that it's like you don't know this person, and if they
Mhm.
don't close or they don't set or whatever the case may be, it's like you don't know them, they don't know you. It really doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter as much as you think it does. I think that's one of the early things that I had to learn really early on, like an appointment setting in an office, talking to people, where it's like, dude, who cares? Like what that person thinks. Like, oh, I said that weird or I said that wrong, or it's all in your head at the end of the day because
Mhm.
like they don't know you, and the fact that like we're so nervous when we first start is like crazy, right? But
Yeah.
I was too. But
Mhm.
that would be the first thing is just like going in with kind of, I know it's easier with different personality types, but kind of going in with like the I don't give a you know what mindset
Mhm.
and just being like, dude, at the end of the day, I'm here to get better and my skills progress. And you hear the kind of stuff that I say to people on calls. You've reviewed my calls with me, Ben. It's like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like it would be a crazy mindset to let what that person thinks actually stop me from progressing my skills. So
For
like I
sure.
hope that makes sense. It's kind of like this is my life, these are my skills that I'm trying to build, and I'm just going to go through the motions. And I know that I need to take a lot of repetitions to get where
Mhm.
I want to go. And then I'm not going to let like what other people think or the outcome and result, right? Because
Mhm.
like if I fall on my face, that's perfectly fine. Like I told you, like you're going to fall on your face. Like you're going to get on a closing call, and it might suck.
Yeah.
That's just that's just
Mhm.
the the essence of what we do, unfortunately. But at the same time, it's like we can't be arrogant and think that we're gonna be the only. It's like actually, and it sounds weird, but it's like actually like a form of arrogance to
Mhm.
think that we're going to be the first ones to start a business, start in sales, and like not have any failure.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? So like when
Yeah.
we can remove that, like that's like ego that comes into play where it's like, oh, I don't want to be the one that has to fail in this. Well, it's like, okay, we're gonna do a little bit of failing, but
Mhm.
it's like actually checking ourselves to get better. And then that's when I see what the difference is between reps who grow fast and then reps who grow really slow. It's like the reps who grow really slow are the people who are like, nah, man, I don't want to say that because what if they react like that? I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. And then like reps who grow fast are like the ones who can immediately get on there. Like when I used to do a lot of coaching, being coached by people, I
Mhm.
would immediately bring that same coaching I get in the next day and try to implement as much as I can.
Yeah.
So then at least I'm fixing those mistakes, right? And then there's
Mhm.
going to be more mistakes. So that makes sense, kind of?
Yeah, yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. So I would say that is like you know, the mindset to have is that like, all right, we're in this. We're going to fail a little bit. That's just natural. We're
Mhm.
going to have people be jerks. But if you think about it, like all the people that are jerks and like have this huge ego and the ones like that we're usually scared to pitch, like,
Yeah.
like they're not confident people. They're just like, they're
Yeah.
like fake. They're like fake confident, like fake
Mhm.
A-type ego personalities.
Yeah.
And it's like we want to be able to like get behind that and see what's really going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
for
it's
sure.
gonna be hard if we're nervous. So
Mm,
definitely. I mean, people do all different kinds of things, bro, too. It's just like however you normally keep yourself calm,
mm.
then would be how you keep yourself calm on a call. It's the same stuff.
Yeah,
It's all
for
the
sure.
same, all
For
the
sure.
same stuff. But all right, thank you, Ben.
Hmm.
Does anybody else have a question? I know some of you are doing various different things. Anything, Jet? I know we'll talk soon, but all right. If you got to think about it, then you probably have a question, man. You got to think
Um,
about it. You probably have a
on
question.
this, I guess, what is the process that you normally try to do to get a commitment out of somebody? Like, how do you draw the
The
best commitments?
You're talking like after I got an objection?
Yeah, yeah, to like reframe it, get the commitment in, and then get back into it.
Do you mean like a financial commitment or a commitment they want to do? Because those are two different things. Like there's a financial commitment and then there's a commitment that like this is for them.
More so like the action of actually committing to it. Like, okay, I'm gonna take that step. So more so just kind of commitment and just more of an action more than financial, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Okay, so I mean, if they're scared, and there's like we covered like logistic. Did we cover
Hmm.
logisticals at this point already? Like money at that point, and then it's like like we're stuck with the fears. Like I know what you're saying. So like
Yeah.
logistically, I covered it. They
Hmm.
have the money, right?
Yep.
Uh, I mean, I know you've watched me do this before. It's really along the lines of, okay, once I covered the money, right, and I already covered the program, then you tell me what's left. So if I cover the program, set, bro, it's gonna get me results. I like this. Don't get too caught up when I say program because you guys might be selling something different. If I covered the car or if I
Hmm.
covered the training or the product, okay, set on that. Okay, we're into logistics, logistical money. Set on that, they have the money. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean they're jumping out the window to take the leap yet. So what's left usually?
Like at that point, just kind of reframing the identity more so, just getting them to take that action more so, would you say?
I'm careful when I say identity too because identity is really good in these remote stuff, but when you sell different stuff
Yeah.
and you go for the identity, it could be like it doesn't land the same way. So it's like really just fear.
Okay.
So as far as coming up, like how I usually do it would be like, okay, so like pretty much, you know, you said that you're set on the program. It's gonna get the results that you're looking for. I think you also kind of agreed, and you said like you have the money. It's just like taking that actual leap is, what's kind of. I usually don't like to use this word, but maybe a little bit of fear is coming up, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's not fear, like maybe it's just a little bit of like uncertainty that's coming up, right? But the way that I say that, so when I'm gonna creep into that, it's going to be very light on my feet. So I'm gonna walk very like almost on eggshells there because I don't want to be
Hmm.
like, "Hey, Jet, like, are you scared right now, man?" Because what
Yeah.
is that gonna do? Even the passive ones of us, right, that might be here or on calls, like what it's gonna do is actually like they're gonna put their ego wall up and be like,
Yeah.
"No, dude, like I'm not saying I'm scared, but it's just like." So we don't want to do that. We almost want to like act like we're fishing for it. So it's kind of like yeah, man. So like I mean, based on like the way it sounds right now, like maybe like I usually don't usually like to use this word, but like a little bit of like fear might be coming up, a little bit of uncertainty, and they're usually gonna buy in right there most of the time. They're either feeling fearful or feeling uncertain, right? And it's
Hmm.
actually more so about themselves or a belief they have. It's not the program.
Hmm.
It's not the program. That's what I learned like 99.9% of the time. It's like usually not what you're selling. It's like it's either
Hmm.
something that's holding them back as far as, fear, they're actually scared, or something that they believe like, yeah, if I'm gonna join, I had a guy the other day that was like, if I'm gonna join a program like this, it needs to be absolutely proven. Like, there needs to be some rep from that program that you can see his bank account like online. And it's like that's a crazy belief to have. So, uh, yeah. So pretty much I tackled the program, I tackled the money, and then next, once they buy into the fear, like, yeah, it's fear, then I'm like, okay, and like, what do you feel like might be coming up, or what do you feel like is really behind that? And like
Mm.
that question is literally that easy,
Yeah, I was about
that
to say that
very
that's straightforward.
that's very straightforward, but it's like that's exactly how I do it. It's just what's like there'll be people and you'll watch examples where people will ask like 5 questions there to get to that question, but I literally just go right to the question. And I'm like, all right, so like what do you think is like maybe behind that, right? But like if you listen to
Hmm.
my tonality and everything, it's very disarming, it's very like friendly and cool. So they're gonna,
Hmm.
tell you what's behind it, obviously, right? And then it becomes okay. So like you always are agreeable. So when you say it, you don't want to be like, nah, man, I don't understand that. It's like, dude, like, nah, like I could totally respect that, and I understand that. But like based on our conversation, because at this point, Jet, you should have already had them bought in enough that like you've had made up their mind about taking action. They should have bought into all that, or you shouldn't be at this
Hmm.
point of the call, right? So it's
Yeah.
like based on like like everything that we went over and stuff. Like I feel like you don't really want to be stuck here. So it's kind of like we have two choices, man. It's like we either let fear, or let like the uncertainty, right? Like keep us stuck right where we're at, where I mean, you admitted it yourself, like we're not really happy. Or it's like, man, like we take that leap and we actually overcome fear, and then we become that version of ourselves that we're saying that you want to be. And they're not going to
Hmm.
say like, yeah, I'm going to do it right there. They're going to say something like, wow, bro, like I never thought of it like that. Or they're going to say something like, yeah, man, you're right. And as a leader, what we do next is like, so what do we do? just like that. So what do we do? Right, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it's
So more
like,
so just basically making it either you're gonna suffer the consequences or you're gonna move forward, and just basically making it very binary and just putting
exactly.
that pain against the goal.
Exactly. Like I was just training a rep in solar earlier, and it was like I was going through the same thing because like he speaks like freaking like a legend, like beautifully, but like he doesn't use any like move forward language. So it's
Mm.
like, dude, like they're super bought in. Like you could probably take their daughter on a date right now of how smooth and cunning you are with your words. But like even little stuff like I've taught you, where it's just like, so how would you like to move forward? Or so what do we do now? What do we do here? Right? Stuff like that is like we have to keep the ball rolling. Like maybe we're action takers to the point where we're like, all right, bro, like here's my card. Like let's get started. But like the
Hmm.
people we're sitting in front of are usually not action takers like that. And like if we expect them to just be like, all right, Jay, all right, Jay, here's my card, bro. Like let's go. It's like it's not gonna happen. It's gonna happen like 3 out of 100 times,
Mm.
and we're gonna leave a lot of deals on the table. So does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like obviously we don't have an actual word track going right now, but that's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is. It's like I always want to tackle the program first or the product that I'm selling because I don't want to go back to that.
Hmm.
I don't want to go back to that. I want to tackle that out first. Like, all right, you're set on that. And then I want to get to obviously like the logistics as far as like, can they actually make it work? And then like the only thing holding back is fear or whatever the case may be. So when I knock that out, it's like we're good.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So as
Yeah.
much as you can, try to make sure that they understand the product, make sure that's not the issues, and try to get the logistics of the money or whatever it is, and then tackle the more so the mindset of it.
That's the route that I would usually do it in. You know what I mean? That's the route
Hmm.
that I would usually do it in, because
Okay.
I don't want to like sit there like tackling fear the whole time, and then it's like we get there they don't have the money. You're gonna get
Yeah.
really discouraged if you do that because you're gonna think like, damn, I didn't push that guy over the line. I didn't like at least I know if I tackled that and all like if I tackled the program and tackled the money and then it's like the fear, then it's like, okay, I didn't do my job if I didn't push him over the line. And
Yeah. Yeah.
all
It really makes it streamlined. Okay. If I don't have an easy time in here, I did something very wrong over here. It just makes it really
exactly.
easy to identify it then.
Exactly. And I'd be careful, like, bro, don't get discouraged. People, like, some people, like, actually don't have the money.
Yep.
And you'll be able to know, like, you'll be able to know. So it's like, don't use the excuse. Don't be those reps that are like, dude, they just didn't have the money. But, like, you didn't even get there. Like knowing somebody had the money or not is, like, actually, when you're sitting there going through bank accounts with them, like, So like, all right, what about checking, man? Like, what would you say you have available in checking? Oh, I got this. And most people like to keep their, checkings and their savings split. Like, I understand that. So like, what about savings? And like what do you have access to in credit? Oh, nothing. Like, do you have any friends you could borrow from? Or once you explore like all four of those and it's like nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and you feel like they're honest and open, then it's like, okay, this was a money logistical issue. Right. You
Yeah,
know what
and
I'm
in
saying?
those situations, how would you tackle that? Let's say they don't have the money whatsoever. How would you tackle that?
Do they have credit?
In this scenario, they don't, let's just say.
Do they have a friend that
But
they can borrow it from?
no, like let's say if they don't have anything, how would you go about basically like disqualifying them? Or would you not disqualify them and try to
Um, okay, so like it depends. Like this wouldn't be your job. Like
hmm
this is something, oh, Brooklyn. This is this is something that the owner of the offer has to worry about. Like that's
okay.
not your job. That's my job. Like
hmm
that's what I do on a daily basis is like, all right, what do I do for disqualified people? Do I have a free school group or do I have a free group that's like, I
hmm
might be nurturing them or might be giving them maybe it's not even nurturing them, right? Maybe it's just giving them some tools that they need to help out
hmm
people because I want to help as many as I can. Or maybe it's like, all right, man, so like if you don't have any of those like vehicles, but sounds like you want to do it, like what we could do is just like kind of like set up a plan for the future to get you started. So like when do you think that like you may have a little bit more available? And that's how I
hmm
do it. It's not like, dude, the internet game has changed. So like back in the day, like with coaching and stuff like that, like follow-up calls and all that stuff worked. And now
hmm
it's like, dude, somebody gets off the call in a remote call, it's like over.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it kind of just all depends on your offer, then is what you're saying. That,
Yeah,
that should be already
that's
set up in a
that's
different
the
way.
boss's job, but there definitely
hmm
will be stuff set up, obviously, where it's like, okay, after X amount of time, we follow up with X leads through email,
hmm
blast, or whatever nurture, etc.,
Yeah.
content. Yeah, the stuff like that. But I
Okay.
wouldn't want to worry about that. It's like if you get
hmm
them to that point, they don't have the money, like you did your job at that
Yeah.
point.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Mhm.
That answers my questions then.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're gonna go and look at the call. Brooklyn, what's up? Does anybody have any questions before we look at this call? I know some people. If Trey, yeah, Trey, you can unmute yourself, bro. Go ahead, bro.
All right, so I was on me. I was like, I was eating like crazy. That's why I had
Mm,
it turned off.
you're good,
But
bro.
so one of my biggest things. I know you just talked about follow up. When you're setting, what would be like that time frame on when you should follow up, but not make it too like too pushy? You get what I'm saying?
Okay, so this goes back to what I said in the beginning of the call. Like, don't worry about the other person. There is no too pushy. Like, unless you're using pushy language and you're being like a pushy salesman. But like the way that we sell, right? Like the way that we learned from the program and like the way we are as far as like what I'm calling like the top 1% mindset of selling is like we just keep going. Especially it depends on how much commitment you got from them like already. Like if you got to like a call link, then it's like, hey bro, hey Jet, is like making, 5 to 7K a month something you're actually serious about? Or is this like more so something you kind of just want? That one's really good. That's like follow up I use probably every time. No matter what commitment I have them in. Like they reached out to you, they opted out to you in some way, right? Especially if it came through an ad. They reached out through your ad and showed all that intent to show like that they actually are interested in what you're doing and then engage in conversation with you. He said, "Can I say it again?" I'm not sure what he means by that. But yeah, I'm gonna keep explaining it, bro. So you're good. So yeah, so like they reached out to you and they engaged with you. And if we could just like detach our mindsets, like who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like I had a kid the other day, right? And like nothing I say, bro, is like cocky. This is just like I've been doing this for a long time. So it's like this is just how it goes. I had a kid the other day tell me like, bro, like you follow up a lot. Like da 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 da. And it's like, dude, like the reason that I'm making what I'm making in sales and like you're reaching out to me for some help is because you have a belief in your head that's stopping you from following up with people. Like I've been a rep somewhere and I wasn't even that good yet and made a ton of money off just following up with people. Like to the point where they were like, all right, like let's just do this deal. I'm talking like $60,000 deals, bro. 60, $70,000 deals. And I made a ton of money on commissions of just following up. So to bring it back to setting, bro, to give you like a time frame, like I mean, sending like a question mark to your message at any time is fine. Like at any time, like question mark, just a question mark is fine because treat it like you would a normal conversation. If somebody didn't answer your conversation, would you send a question mark? Right?
Yeah, yeah, you
Yeah, like would you? It depends, obviously. Like maybe if it's like a girl or something, right? Like
yeah.
don't think of it if it's like a girl, because like then you might start to think like you might start to put in your head like, nah, man, like I don't want to send the question mark. I'm gonna sound thirsty or whatever you want to call it, right? But like if it was just your friend or something like that, or your family member, they're not answering you, and we're talking about something important, you'd send a question mark, right? So it'd be a question mark. Or if it's like, a call link was sent out and they don't get back to you to the next, they're not getting back to you. It's the next day. They left it on scene. It's like, hey, Trey, like, just so I know, man, like, if we're like, actually doing something proactive by talking here, like, is making 5 to 7K a month something that's actually serious for you, or are we kind of just here, or like you kind of is this something that you just kind of want? That's how I do that. Um,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. If that does that answer your question?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. Because yeah, and it's all the belief, bro. Like if we just get the belief out our head, like who cares what this person thinks? And it's literally if I reach out a bunch and they don't buy, then they didn't buy. Cool. If I don't reach out a bunch, they probably still weren't gonna buy. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's like you lost the deal either way. It's like you're not gonna lose the deal by reaching out a bunch, bro. Right? Like if Alex Hormozy, I don't know if you guys know who that is, but like if he wants to work with me right now and he reaches out a bunch, like all the authority that he has and like who he really is, I'm not gonna be like damn, like Alex Hormozy's just he's thirsty for this deal, man. Like no. So if you reaching out a bunch actually scares them away, then there's another problem there, and it's not you reaching out. Got it?
Mhm.
All right, cool. So I think I'm gonna wrap up questions there. I do want to pull this up for you guys, so just give me a second. Some of you already saw this, but like I said, it's not a problem to worry about. Let's just watch it because the way I do it with the group might be a little bit different. So, okay. Uh, can you guys see my screen? I actually don't want you to see my screen. There's so many like lows and stuff. Can you guys see my screen though?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
see it.
yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. I have to actually stop showing my screen, but that's fine. Let's see. Um, Let me know if you guys can hear.
Oh, bro.
Not much, man. But okay, don't do that. Don't do that on your calls. Point is, like, I, I sometimes I do things that like I wouldn't teach, but I know that like I'm very locked in on my mind, so we're not gonna waste any time. Like if he tries to go into like a Western time zone conversation, like I'm gonna cut him right off, like flat off, and like be like, yeah, yeah, bro, like no, we could definitely get into that more, bro. Like that's awesome. But all right, so like to get like more so to the point, like what made you book in a call, right? Like I'm confident to do that right now, but don't get in a habit of asking crazy like questions like that. And I had a student that started a DM setting conversation like that. And I think I've told some of you this story, but it ended in the guy actually trying to book him. So be careful with that, like being all over the place and talking about the Yankees and the Mets and the hat that they're wearing on their page and what time zone, like really lowers your status and makes you sound like every other sales rep that's like pretending to be their friend. So yeah, point
Yeah.
there.
Anyways,
Yeah.
to get to it, pretty much like what I noticed just works best on these calls, because I just want to get an idea of where you're at, your current situation, and what you're really trying to do. Because I've helped a lot of people, build their sales skills or get on the right offers. Unfortunately, I can't help everyone, and I hope you can, understand that. So
Yeah.
after, we walk through, some questions and stuff, I get a better idea. If I feel like I'm able to help you, then I'll just show you what that would look like.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
awesome.
So,
Okay, cool. So yeah, what made you book in a call?
so I was pretty much just trying to like learn the skill, like dive deeper into sales and stuff. And I want to be able to
Okay.
see if there's like more like job opportunities with like high ticket closing and stuff like that, with like
Okay.
warm leads and stuff.
Okay. So like obviously, building your skills is very important, but like,
Yeah.
there's 1,000 different ways that we can make money. Like, why sales though? Is it just you're trying to, make some more income or?
Yeah. Just to be able to like surpass my full-time job. Well,
Mhm.
a part-time job
Okay.
actually.
Okay. And like, just to be like a little bit more specific, like with monthly income, what are you thinking as far as you're trying to make?
So starting with the monthly income, I'd say about like 10 to 20K is where I'm shooting at.
Okay. Let's just say, like 10 for.
All right, he just gave me like two goals at one time, so it's like 10 to 20K. I think we all as like adults in here know that's like a huge difference. Like someone who makes 20K and someone who makes 10K, or someone who makes 20K makes 30, or you know what I mean? So like that was like way too big. So like the rule that I always teach though is like if somebody comes in way too high, like I'm gonna bring them back down to earth. Just because it's like we want to be like fair and realistic and obviously be honest people, like we're not lying to people. So like if he did just say 20, right, then my answer would be like, yeah man, like for sure, like I'm like working with me, like we could get you definitely to 20, but that would be like more so of like a future plan, like more so to start. Where I see is like students come in around like 7 to 10, right? So like uh definitely bring him down to earth. If his goal is too low, then I would have brought him up. If he was like, yeah dude, I'm just looking to like land like an extra $1,500 in my pocket a month, so like I'm gonna buy your $7,000 course to do that. It doesn't logistically, that wouldn't make any sense. So
For now, right? Because 10 to
Yeah.
20,
Yeah.
that's a big leap. Let's just say 10. And like, what's the gap? What's the gap relative to where you're at right now?
Gap relative to where I'm at right now. What do you mean by that?
So like, you're at 10. Is that like double what you're currently making? Triple? What is?
Oh, that's like way more than triple. That's like, that's like 9 people's incomes within 2 weeks. So that'd be
Okay.
like,
So
that's
more than triple.
awesome. More than triple. Absolutely.
Got it. All right. So like, how long have you been looking to get into sales though?
Ooh, quite a while now, actually. I had an idea of like becoming an entrepreneur at first, like just creating my own drop shipping store, which
Mhm.
flunked. Tried doing
Okay.
affiliate marketing, which flunked.
Okay.
I've tried doing a bunch of other stuff, and I've been day trading for a while. I've been day trading
Sure.
for a long time, so like a year and a half, I'd say,
Sure.
or
I
a
saw
little
that
bit
on your
over a year and a
profile.
half.
So just,
Yeah.
okay. No, sure. Yeah. I saw that on your profile. We could definitely.
okay, a couple things there. One, he said that's like 9 people's incomes. So if you ask somebody like is 10K double triple your income, and they're like that's 9 people's incomes, like I probably could have. I don't know what my schedule looked like that day. So like if my schedule was like wide open, man, I'm gonna sit on the call, right? You know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily like I have quote unquote better things to do at that time. But like if someone says something like that, like right now listening to that, like that raises flags to my ears. Cause like I mean, damn, bro, like 10 divided by 9 is like 1,000. And then I'm thinking like maybe he's even under 1,000 a month, right? So I'm gonna start like being wary, like how much is this guy making financially, and depending on how much the offers you guys are selling are, if someone says something like that, you might want to just sit in the pocket and financially qualify them. Take heed to something that like like I did here. I do want you guys to hear this.
Yeah.
That's a big leap. Let's just say 10. And like, what's
Okay.
the gap? What's the gap relative to where you're
Listen
at
to
right
what
now?
I did.
Gap relative to where I'm at right now. What do you mean by that?
So if you're at 10, is that like double what you're currently making? Triple? What is?
Oh, that's like way more than triple. That's like, that's like 9
Okay.
people's incomes within 2 weeks. So that'd be
Okay.
like,
So
that's
more than triple.
awesome. More than triple. Absolutely.
Got it. All right. So like, how long have you been looking to get into sales though?
Ooh, quite a while now, actually. I had an idea of like becoming an entrepreneur at first, like just creating my own drop shipping store, which
Mhm.
flunked. Tried doing
Okay.
affiliate marketing, which flunked.
Okay.
I've tried doing a bunch of other stuff, and I've been day trading for a while. I've been day trading
Sure.
for
Gonna cut him
a
off.
long time, so like a year and a half, I'd say,
Sure.
or
I
a
saw
little
that
bit
on your
over a year and a
profile.
half.
So just, okay.
Yeah.
No, sure. Yeah. I saw that on your profile.
Okay, so point there. Be quick to the point. Is like one, he didn't answer my question. So as soon as he stops talking, I'm gonna just go right back into like how long. Like quite a while doesn't help us at all. Like this is like vague language. It's not gonna help us figure out what we need to figure out. Like how long have you been in sales? I had this problem with the kid like a couple months, like a month ago or something, where I was like, all right, buddy, like like how long you been in sales for? roofing sales, and he was like, forever, bro. And the kid was like 17. So like I had to sit there and clarify like what does forever mean to you, and that's I need to get like a real time span, right? You know what I mean? Because then it's like you're going into like reframing them and like getting them, pushing them to take some kind of action, and then it becomes like, dude, like, you said you've been doing this for like a little while now, and it's like, do we want to like stay stuck here for like another little while? It's like doesn't make any sense. But if it's like if I got a time span like 11 months, then it's like, dude, you've been stuck there for 11 months, and you're at 1K a month, and you want to get to 10, you've been losing 9K a month for 11 months. That's $99,000, right? That's 100K. See how I did that there, as opposed to like that's something real that's happened. But when it's stuck on a little while, like it actually is not giving me any leverage.
We could definitely get into that. But you
Okay.
said a long time. Like, can you just clarify? Because that can mean different things for different people.
Oh yeah, absolutely, not a problem. So I started day trading back in late June of 2023, and so that's been almost 2 years actually. So
That you've been
not
looking to
like
get
a
into
long
sales. No, just
sales,
clarify.
yeah.
Like, that you've been looking to get into sales
Oh,
for 2 years.
not sales itself, but just day trading itself. But like I've been looking to get into sales for 2 months, I'd say.
Okay, so 2 months. And like, what would you say that you
Yeah.
try to rely?
Okay, so like this guy's like kind of A-type, and he's like kind of trying to talk over me and keep talking. Like rule number, I don't want to say one, but like very big rule here is like do not follow the old sales model and just let people like talk and talk and talk. Like there's going to be a time to let them talk, and definitely let them expand on their points if we have them somewhere valuable that's going on our structure and our goals. But it's like don't just let people talk just to let them talk. Like I asked him what he's looked into and tried, and then he was like blah 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 day trading, right? Like day trading, okay. And then once I heard him trying to expand on like a day trading journey or whatever, like this is not helping us day trading from 2 years ago. So then it's like, okay, okay, yeah, man, we could definitely get into that. But like back to sales specifically, like how long have you been, you know, doing this for, right? So definitely don't. And if you notice, just keep listening to like how I cut him off. Uh, and don't think that's disrespectful or rude. Don't cut the prospect off to like talk about you. Like, yeah, I want to just know some more information. No, it's more like, yeah, we could definitely get into that, but like just to see like how I could best help. Like how long have you actually been doing this for? That's how you do that. So then it doesn't trigger them off wrong when you cut them off.
The
Hey,
last, like, what have you really been looking into over the last 2 months to get that a reality and start making, 10K off sales or more than 3x your income off of sales?
Okay. So I've actually been looking for okay, not looking for, but like I've actually looked for this job. I'm actually starting off with Rep Rally. I don't know if you
Yep.
have it. It's an area sales, and so you're pretty much selling products to like convenience stores, gas stations. You're just selling them in bulk to those kinds of stores and stuff. So, and I haven't started
Okay.
yet.
All right.
I've been onboarded and I've been hired with them. I just haven't
Okay.
started yet because honestly I've been lacking and I've been kind of lazy. And so
What do you mean
just
by
'cause,
you've
like
been lacking? What do you mean
just
by
like
you've been
kind of
lacking?
just like I haven't really been figuring out how to practice the script and the script to like the gas stations and the convenience stores and stuff
Okay.
to like
All right. So,
sell to them.
like, what do you feel like is, holding you back from?
Okay. Language is really important. One, first of all, we have to be like really good listeners, like, and we have to just be like really blunt. At least in our mindset. Like, if you don't talk blunt, don't try to become like some blunt person overnight to fit the role. It's not what I'm telling you to do. But like, we got to be like blunt in our mindsets. Like, he just said he has a job and he was on board and all this cool stuff, but he hasn't started yet. Like, he didn't start. Like, he went around that whole rabbit hole just for me to know like he didn't start. Like most people, like they got on board, they started. Like, there's some reason he didn't start at this job. That's beside the point. He said the word lacking. So if someone's like, I'm lacking, I'm unconfident, I'm not committing. Like when we hear this language, you're gonna hear me immediately jump in to check that and be like, well, what do you mean by lacking, man? Because that's lacking's vague. Like I don't. That's not really helping me. That's not deep. I want to open them up like another level by being like, what do you mean by lacking? What does lacking mean to you? Or what do like what's coming up that has you lacking, right? So we could start to handle that there. Because if I just let him say stuff like I'm lacking, I'm not committing, I'm not putting time and money into it, and then I get to the end of the call and I pitch him like a $7,000, $4,000 program, then it's kind of like, okay, I've allowed him to feel like lacking was okay this whole time. So he's just going to be on the end of the call thinking lacking's okay. But by the time I pitch him a program, I want lacking to like not even be a thought. Like we're not doing that anymore. That's not how we're living it. I hope that makes sense.
Putting in the work that you need to do to get to 10K a month in sales or make that job that you have currently work.
Just letting that fear just get a hold of me. I feel like it's just really that fear. So there's really not, besides that, there could be really nothing holding me back besides the fear and the anxiety.
No, I can appreciate that. And thank you for being real with me. Like I said, like most of the time, what I see on these calls is that people come up and they act like they have it all figured out. So I definitely, appreciate you being honest with me. But like, regardless of the
Okay, like I'm not like an asshole. Like if somebody says something that's valuable or they're doing valuable or they're doing good behavior, like we want to commend that. So like he's opening up to me and saying, "Let's see how easily I got him to open up." Like I'll show you guys the timestamp. Like that was in like 3-4 minutes of the call. He's already telling me he's fearful and scared. So like he's actually taking the right steps by telling me this information to try to get himself the help he needs. So now that's why you see me stop there and be like, yo, Jet, or yo, Andy, like, I just want to thank you, man. I appreciate that because I take hundreds of these calls, or like I talk to hundreds of people in the DMs. You know what I mean? Or I take hundreds of these appointments, and like a lot of people, they try to lie or just are not real with themselves about their actual situation, and like all that's doing is keeping them stuck where they're at. So also what I'm doing is like building up his identity into the person I want him to be, and like letting him know the more open that he is with me, the more of a person that actually gets the help that he needs, he is. And I hope you guys see like kind of like what that does there.
fear. No, of course. But like in regards to fear, I guess like what would you say is coming up that you're really afraid of?
Just like, I don't know, just like getting yelled at and stuff. Like, cause I'll be honest, like I've had like past traumas with like getting yelled at by adults and stuff as a kid. And so I grew up with that. I was like, I don't know if I want to deal with that, but like another thing is I care too much about what other people think. And so I'm trying to stop doing that. And so pretty much just trying to dig deeper in why, like, okay, why am I being held back from sales? Like, what's stopping me?
Yeah.
I feel like I could be a good fit. It's just, I need to really put in the work.
Okay, well, that's definitely good that you're, self-aware of the problem.
Oh, yeah.
But like, can I give you some perspective on what you just said?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay, awesome. So like, pretty much, do you feel like,
All right, cool. Quick point there is like if you're gonna reframe somebody's belief or you're gonna challenge them on something they say, I'd say like 80% of the time, like 70% of the time, you're definitely going to want to say, can I give you some perspective on that? Or like, hey, man, can I challenge you on that? Because like if I just butt in and I'm like, dude, like that doesn't make sense because X, Y, and Z. Like if you want to be X, Y, and Z person, we're going to like get them in very defensive into fight or flight and they're just not going to listen to you or take your advice at all. But when I ask them, hey, can I challenge you on that, man? Or like, hey, can I give you some perspective on that? Then like whatever I say is going to land way better. And they're also kind of like giving you the right to say like whatever. It's like, hey, Jet, can I tell you about yourself right now? It's like it's still gonna suck when I say it to you, depending on what I say to you, but it's kind of like you're gonna brace yourself a little bit, like, ah, man, like he's about to tell me about myself, as opposed to like I just come out outright. It's gonna affect you a little bit differently, I'd say. And you only like with the be careful though with the can I give you some perspective. I keep like 3 of those in my pocket to call or like can I challenge you? You don't want to say that every time you have a thought though. Don't take this the wrong way because I hope you guys can understand. You're gonna sound crazy. Imagine if we were having a conversation in the cafe and every time you said something, I'm like, can I challenge you on that, man? It would get really annoying. It would get like really annoying and like redundant. So also be careful. Use it in with moderation. Yeah.
all right, in regards to, your bank account, right? At the end of the month, in your first very successful month in sales, when you look at the bank account and you see $10,000 that came in from sales just this month, are you going to see that in your bank account or are the other people going to see it in their bank account? The
I
people
would
that
see
you're
that in
afraid of getting yelled at. Okay. So like, do you feel like it's a fair perspective to walk around and let what they think determine what's going to be in your bank account?
No, it really shouldn't be like that.
And do you want to keep thinking like that?
I don't want to keep thinking like this. I want to have a better mindset, to be honest.
But why though? Because like maybe I'm wrong, right? I might not be right. So why do you think that makes sense?
I just don't know. Like, I felt like it didn't make sense a little bit, but like it made sense in this, like the way, like I just didn't want to bug him, and that's pretty much it.
But
Bug who? Bug? Sorry, bug who?
Oh, just like the store owners and stuff, like walking in there and just telling them, hey, I'm a new distributor around this area. I was wondering if I could, have like some orders come in. Obviously, that's not like the first part of the script, but it's like, yeah.
Okay, so a couple things right there. So,
okay, a couple things right there for sure. So first things first, like, and you guys are gonna sell like all different types of stuff. Like I know some of you like want to get into fitness, depending on like what offers you're able to land. Like I know some of you are in cars and all different kinds of stuff. Whatever you want to sell, Amazon training doesn't matter. Like don't think of it like that. Like the whole point of the frame I just gave him was like he told me pretty much like he got yelled at as a kid. He was scared about what other people are gonna think if he does X, Y, and Z. So I just gave him like a simple frame, and this is like all pulled off the top of my brain. And you guys will get better at this, but it's just kind of like, can I give you some perspective on that? Sure, Jay. Okay, at the end of the month, like when you make your first 10K off of sales in a month and you look in the bank account, like who's gonna look in the bank account? Are you gonna look in the bank account? They're gonna look in the bank account. Like who's gonna see that bank account? Well, me, of course, not them. So like, why are we thinking about what they are thinking? Why do we care at all what they think? Oh, well, I don't know. I guess if you put it that way, I mean, I guess I don't want to think that. Like, do you want to keep thinking that way? No. Like, are we going to keep thinking that way? No. Okay. So and then we move on, of course, because then he bought in, but like he kind of was confused on my question, so he starts going into something else. Um, I'd say have a good balance between like making sure that they understand you and like be careful with being redundant. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to just be stuck in the same spot trying to. It's not like me versus them, like my mindset versus theirs. It's just like, okay, how can I help this person understand it best? And he moved on, so you're gonna see me move on.
So that currently, it sounds like a limiting belief that you have, and probably the source of it is the skills that you have. Because,
Yeah,
do you think that the people with the best skills are scared to, or, feel a little bit of fear from walking into a store, a gas station, a business to sell what they are offering? Or do you think that they just get up
absolutely.
there and they do it? Because why? Because they have the best skills, right?
They're scared. They're just as scared, I'd say,
No, they're not.
and they're
No,
still
I'm
doing
saying,
it. No,
no, I'm saying, do you think the people with the best skills, do you think that they feel fear when they're going into a business to do what they do and it stops them from doing it? Or do you think since they have the best skills, they just walk in and do what they have to do?
I would say like they they pretty much. Oh, what was I gonna say? I lost my train
Now
of
you're good,
thought.
bro.
My bad. Um, I would say they're a little less scared, but the fear's still like with them, I'd say.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, everybody always feels some types of nerves. That's normal, right? But
Yeah,
what I'm more so saying is like, it's not going to stop them from going in and doing what they have to
right.
do to feed their family or put themselves in a better situation. So I
Oh yeah,
feel like right now you may be carrying, somewhat of a limiting belief that since you don't have the skill, you're stopping yourself from doing what is actually going to get you the skills. And then if you
right,
just let that fear keep overcoming you, then you're just going to stay stuck in the same spot.
right.
Hmm.
And I've done that a bunch of times, but like I've done that like I've overcame it like a couple times when I was like taking trades. This is like different from sales, but for example, like let's say like I was on the charts with like day trading and stuff, and I took a loss, and I was like,
This
oh
is
well, like I
really good
actually
right here.
overcame my fear at that point. And so I was like, okay,
Hmm. Okay, so and how did that feel
that's
when you did that?
commendable. It felt great that the fact that I overcame a fear and I used like my skills and I used my strategy other than just like pretty much gambling off of it,
So
off the
you
charts
like,
pretty
it's
much.
safe to say that you like that feeling, right?
Yeah, I
But
like the feeling of just overcoming fear.
hmm But where you're at right now with the sale, and we haven't overcame that fear, and we haven't really become the best version of ourselves. Like, do you like how that feels?
I don't like how that feels when I'm just stuck in my comfort zone, to be honest.
Like
Just
that.
being in the comfort zone just doesn't sit with me well anymore, like it used to,
Hmm.
Like I just have a different mindset about it. That's why like
Yep.
I've kind of been like going on like a steep slope of like just crashing down on like my mental health because I was like, I just need to do better. And I was more stressed. I was more depressed with not
Okay.
overcoming
He's
my
opening
fears and
up,
getting
so
out of my
that's
comfort
why
zone.
I'm letting him just keep
Okay.
going.
So you feel like it's safe to say that you're, ready to overcome that fear.
Okay, so a couple points. So I think I told some of you guys like I had a mentor and he was pretty much explaining to me that or he showed me his actual calls, and something that he does that's really cool, and if you guys want to implement it on yours, is like make the prospect align with the time that they took action so they could feel like it's something like they actually did before. And like psychology lesson would be like people uh resonate better with stuff that like they could feel like they did before as opposed to change, right? Like change is something new. If they've already done it before, then it's like, okay. So he does a frame where it's like, hey man, like, can you think of a time where like, you were scared maybe, and you were feeling a bunch of fear, you were feeling really nervous, and like you went out and like you overcame that fear, and after you were able to like look back at it and be like very proud of yourself. And then, so what he would do is he would be like, okay, like maybe it was like high school. Like, did you play basketball? Yeah. Like, do you remember when you tried out for the team? Yeah. Okay. Like, and like, what did that feel like when you were going to try out for the team? He was like, and then the prospect starts really opening up about their past, and they're like, yeah, man, like I was so nervous, and I was so scared and all this stuff. And then and it's like, do you remember like when you went to the trial and you like overcame that, like how that felt? Like, dude, I was so proud of myself and like I was so actually happy. And it's like, okay, like did you like that feeling of overcoming your fear and getting out of your comfort zone? He's like, yeah, it felt great. It's like, okay, do you like where we're at right now? Okay, no. So like, do you feel like staying in your comfort zone right now is like what you really want to do? No? So what do? We take action, right? And of course, that's not exactly how the word track's going to go, but that's a really good one that you guys can use in pretty much most offers, especially all these remote offers, definitely.
Here, and really take the steps that you need to
Oh
take
yeah,
to make what you want to make, which in your case is 10K a month of sales.
I'd say I'm more ready than I think I'm ready. You know, I'd say I'm more ready to just overcome it because like what made me realize something. What made me realize this is that me and my mom were actually talking the other day. She was like, why haven't you gone out to do the whole sales thing yet? Weren't you
Yeah.
supposed to? And I was like, wow, that just actually hit deep. Just her saying that by itself hit like pretty deep. So I was
Okay.
like, all right, you know, like I got to make some changes because my dad over here is working 12 hours a day, 5 days, sometimes even 6 days a
Yeah.
week. Like just
No, for sure. So like,
putting
how did
things
that?
together.
I mean, in regards to your mom, like when she said that, like, how did that make you feel?
At first, I was like pretty offended because I thought like I was being attacked, but I actually wasn't. My mom was telling me the truth, and I didn't see it at that moment. But like right after that moment, I was like, wow, like she's right.
Mm-hmm.
She is telling me to do something that I'm not normally like comfortable with, and I don't have to be comfortable with. But
Okay.
I have to like go out and actually get the things I've
Well, you don't
actually
have
been
to.
dreaming
Well,
of. Yeah,
you don't have to, right? You don't have to.
right.
You
Okay, why did I tell him he doesn't have to? Like, if somebody uses the language to be like, I have to. Well, nothing that he's done before this has aligned with the identity of someone who has to. So a couple things. He can either A, just be telling me that, B, he could just be trying to maybe, no shade to him, right? Look cool for himself right now and just saying that. So it's like we want to check that language too. Cause like if it were like I have to, then it would be like, all right, Jay, show me this program, my card's out, like I'm ready. Like you know what I mean? Like we wouldn't be going down this whole rabbit hole here if he had to. So then it's like, well, man, like you don't have to. But like why do you think that, you should take the steps you have to? And then he's gonna, pull and buy right back in. For sure.
you
Right.
can easily just stay, where you're at, doing what you're doing right now. But like, are you going to do that, or are you going to do it?
I'm gonna go through it.
Okay, for sure. So, like, for example, right? Like, let's say that I were able to give you the tools and the skills and the framework, everything that you would need to make 10K a month of sales, money, school, and all, and it's very important. I don't like when people act like, money's not important. But what would that do for you
Right.
more so, like, personally? What would that do for you personally?
10K a month would easily help me like pay the bills and help my parents like groceries and some of the bills. But
Okay.
like some of the other bills they have like at least like $40,000 in credit card debt. And so it's like, okay, I want to
Okay.
help pay that off just by a little bit.
And so you feel like the responsibility of that.
Like they said to me, like, yeah, and it's not your responsibility. But I was like, you know what? Like, it is my responsibility to come and help my parents and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, break that generational debt
Okay.
because that's something I've always wanted to do. Like, I'm not just me, like being a son. Like, I'm not just going to keep my money to myself being like, yeah, haha, it's on you guys. You know, I'm not going
I
to do
totally
that.
get it, bro. No, that I respect
Yeah.
it. I totally get that. So it would pretty much just like
I appreciate it.
clear up some bills for yourself, clear up some bills for your family, and just give you more freedom to be an action taker in your life and do, various different things.
Most definitely, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's like what it would do for you. But if you were able to, pay those bills and take that $40,000 in credit card debt and wipe it away, even if it's little by little, like how would that make you feel?
It would make me feel like I've actually accomplished like my true masculinity, my genuine, like,
What do you mean by true masculinity?
so just like being,
Okay, point here one, we got him opening up a bunch here. So like this is like the part of the call where we want to just like shut up and let him talk. Cause like when we're future facing him out to like his identity and like what this is gonna look like if he solves this problem that he's going through. This is the part like where we actually want to let him talk and not keep interjecting. But what we do want to interject on is like, like make me feel real masculinity. Oh, that's a deeper problem there that I want to explore. So then it's like, okay, and like, what do you mean by that? Like real masculinity, like so like right now you're saying that you don't feel masculine, right? So I definitely want to touch on that and get him to keep expanding on that because that's another deep problem that he's just uncovering and pouring out problems to us. Um, Pretty much what I'll say, guys, is like we're getting to that point here where it's about to be closer to the end of the call, and I think you guys saw like we can do hours and hours of call review. I kind of just want to at least spend the time to break that down a little bit. And then at the same time, if anybody has any questions, I know questions could take a few minutes each. I'll stay on for that. So first things first, like none of that was scripted. Like the very beginning you watched was like obviously part of my script, and then this very end we're watching right here was scripted. But there's like a good 20 minutes we just watched it that's not scripted, and that was the logic of me showing you guys a call besides showing you guys the script. Because I could have just walked you guys through the script, but I don't want to build like bad habits, because then I don't want to like turn you guys into like script monsters, where you're just like, dude, what was Jay's next scripted question that he told me? Like, and you're sitting there, you're not listening to someone, and you're like just a script monster is the word that I just coined off the top of my head right now. But what I do want to turn you guys into is really good problem finders. So like, dude, if I find a big enough problem on the call, and in this case, that problem was the fear that he's feeling and like these beliefs that he has, like I'm just gonna sit there and focus on that, like, because that's gonna be the Achilles heel that's gonna stop him. And this is with whatever you sell. Like, dude, if you find a big enough problem in it, if you find a big enough problem, it's like just focus on that problem. And when you tackle that problem, like everything else will be dandy and green. But if you find a big problem, you spend like 30 seconds talking about it, like, yeah, man, oh, and then like go into your next scripted question. Like you're gonna drop a $7,000, $17,000, $2,000 price, and it's gonna be like, okay, now we're right back facing the problem. And this is the whole point of like when you heard people say pre-handling objections, right? Like pre-handling the objection. Like I'm handling that objection at the end of the call because it's good. The objection when I drop the money is gonna be like, oh, I don't know, just feeling a lot of fear, man, and anxiety, and this price makes me anxious and all this stuff. So we clearly, and I want you guys to be able to read the same way that I was able to read in the first few minutes of that call. Like, dude, this guy just started opening up like a book, and I was immediately able to figure out, like, oh, you won't walk in the store to pitch your product because you're scared. You're feeling fear. Okay, so this is clearly like sounds like this is like going to be a trend in your life and a trend that we're going to face on this call. Like, oh, I won't go out and get the paid help I need because of fear. Or Trey, let's say you're doing a fitness offer. I won't go out and get the trainer that I need or the diet planner that I need because I'm feeling fear of what if I pay for it, it doesn't work out. So I like really good problem finders and really good listeners. And I was explaining to Ben, I believe yesterday, but it's like it all ties in together because it's like when we're detached from the sale and the outcome and we're not thinking about the commission, we're not just thinking about the script, right? And we're sitting there, we're actually trying to help them. Then we become really good listeners, really, really, really good listeners. So when I'm not thinking about the money at the end of the call and I'm not thinking about the script and I'm just locked in, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Because somebody asked me the other day, like, how am I so quick on my feet? And like, that's the answer. Because it's like if my head's clear of everything and I'm just listening to this person in front of me, as soon as I hear the language I don't like, yeah, I've just been a little lazy. It's like, oh, okay. Like, what do you mean by lazy, man? Lazy? Like, what's been coming up that's been making you lazy, or whatever the case may be, right? And they're gonna expand and tell you, and then it's like, oh, okay, and like, so would you say like that's been what stopped you from taking any action on this? So it's like that's how I'm so quick on my feet because I'm detached from the sale. I don't care about the money. And me not caring about the money doesn't mean, oh, I have money, I don't care about the money. It's like I know when I adapt the mindset that I don't care about the money is when I actually make the money. Make sense? So it's like detach from that money, bro. Like don't if you're just sitting there thinking about how you're gonna make commissions and stuff, you're gonna have like commission breath, people call it, and you're gonna sound desperate and needy, and you're gonna be thinking about your scripted questions. So like I just really want to train you guys to have a really good ear, be able to find problems, and obviously I'm gonna give you guys and implement the structure on how to break those problems down, as opposed to just being like over reading the script all day. Like memorize the script and the structure, but each question that you ask each person is going to be individualized to that specific situation. And if you try to ask it the same way every time, it is not going to work. It just won't work. You know what I mean? And then that's when you're actually gonna build sales resistance because you're gonna be like, you're gonna come in and you're gonna be like, dude, like, let me ask you, like, when making all this money, would it change your life? And then it's like, all right, like, get to the pitch, buddy. It's like, okay, buddy, like, yeah, I've heard this before. I'm getting a little like tired here on this kind of call. Like, can you just like, package that all in an email for me and shoot it out to me? And like, that's what we're trying to avoid. But when you're sitting there collaborating with someone, then it's like you're trying to actually genuinely help them. You're not going to get those kind of answers. So I hope that makes sense. That's pretty much my breakdown of that call right there. But yeah, raise your hand if you have questions. If you really, really can't figure out how to raise your hand, you can either write in the chat and I'll unmute you, or you can just take your mic off. But make sure it's structured. Everybody don't just start talking over each other, please. I can't see if somebody's raising their hand or not. We're good. Are we all good on the questions?